because you got work to do. Welcome to Ignite, the podcast where we're bringing you mainstream inspiration. In honor of Women's Month, we are celebrating one of our prolific voices in our community. She is a writer, she is a creative thinker, and she is a facilitator known for her ability to captivate audiences with her storytelling. We want to welcome wife, mother, pastor, and playwright Shartonya Cromer. Welcome.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you
Queen.
so much for being here. We are so excited to have you, and I cannot wait to get into it. So let's get into it.
Yes.
All right, first let's do the girly stuff. Let's get the
Okay.
girly things out of the way. Where do you get your sense of style?
My grandmother was like the fashion icon to me
Okay.
because of her individuality, how she expressed herself through her dress.
Okay.
So she always, even when she's going to bed, she gonna look good.
All right.
So my grandmother is my greatest inspiration. And then her daughter, which is my aunt, my mother's sister,
Okay.
was a fashionista as well. So I kind of like gravitated towards them because when you look good, you feel great.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So we know you as a mother. We know you as a wife. We know you're a pastor, a healthcare facilitator, a playwright. But in your words, tell us who Shartonya is.
Shartonya, the woman, aside from all the hats that I wear, is a loving, compassionate giver.
Yeah.
I'm one that loves community.
Okay.
I love people, and I love me.
And it shows.
Yes. So
You
that's
love you.
I love me.
So you said that I love me with
Mhm.
conviction.
Mhm.
It's a story behind that.
Absolutely.
Give us a little bit of that.
So I'm one. I'm currently married, but this is not my first marriage.
Okay.
And so I was previously married, and I engulfed myself in my marriage.
And what do you mean by that?
Everything about him was important.
Okay.
It's him, then me somewhere down here.
Okay.
And so I kind of lost who I am amidst the marriage.
Okay.
And so it was an abusive marriage, and I devalued myself because he started it and I finished it off.
I hear you.
And so I had to relearn how to love myself again.
Wow.
And when I grabbed who I was again and learned that, girl, you're a bad girl.
Come on.
And I loved myself again.
Yes.
I found who I was and then fell in love with the woman who I always been.
Yes.
Right? And so that's why I can say with confidence, because I don't look like what I've been through.
All right.
Right? And then what makes me even the more beautiful, I can look him in the eye. I can smile.
Yes.
I help him. What he did to me did not dictate who I am today.
Yes.
I forgave him, which made me shine even more.
Wonderful. Now, there are stories like yours and stories like that. We know that there are many women who can articulate these days that they can understand and relate. But there are some who have never made it out. You know, they're still carrying that, the weight of what they went through, and they're still carrying that stigma, and they still have that image, you know, of that broken person. Talk to these women, because I believe that you make a choice in these things. You can save yourself. A lot of times we're looking for somebody to come and save us, but you can save yourself. So give them something. Where did you find the strength to pull yourself up out of that dark place?
You know, like I said, I'm a people's person. I grew up in a very loving home.
Okay.
That's not the story for everybody.
Right.
I was reared by my grandparents.
Okay.
So there are some old-fashioned values that I have.
Right.
I thought that I was the strong woman that everybody talks about.
Wow.
And then I met a man that broke me down.
Right.
And I forgot about the man.
Ooh.
I'm a PK. So I knew
Yes.
about the man, but I met a earthly, fleshly man that broke me down. So the other day, my daughter and I were out, and somebody expressed that a lot of women that go through different things, that they are lazy. Or somebody would characterize them as being weak.
Okay.
I would say I would not characterize a person as being lazy or weak because we all have our own different things that we've been through, our
Yes.
own different life journeys.
Yes.
Every woman is not that strong warrior woman.
Right.
And every woman do not know how to pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Right.
Hence, we would need sisterhood
Exactly.
because every woman is different. So I approach, and I remember when I first got into ministry, I prayed and asked God to help me to be effective
Yes.
because I didn't want to just, the type of woman I am, you can't tell me anything.
Right.
You can't sell me anything.
Yes.
I'm a researcher. I'm gonna do my due diligence. You can't just. That's just not
I
me.
feel good about that.
I mean, and me and my husband bump heads a lot. Like I'm no. You can't tell me anything. Say what?
Right.
And so every woman is not that. They'll take what somebody said and they'll take it because that's all they know. They
Exactly.
did not have strong women figures in their lives. They did not have a mentor growing up. And so
Yes.
we can't hold them accountable for something that they don't know.
Exactly.
Like God won't hold us accountable for that we don't know.
Right.
But when we know and we come in the knowledge of, we're held accountable. So I'm more empathetic towards not sympathy because a lot of people like, yeah, I've been through that, but don't sympathize me.
Right.
And so I'm empathetic. And so I approach them differently. I
Mm-hmm.
try to meet them where they are.
Right.
Like I say, I'm a mental health advocate. I try to meet them where they are and find out what is the root of the problem.
Right. The root of the problem.
And not off of little tidbits of what they share. I try to delve deeper.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people don't like to be chipped away at.
Yes.
And so that's what I would say to a young, old, middle age. Take your time. Don't look at everybody else because we think about the tortoise in the hare and we're in competition with others and we don't know their
It's
journey,
true. It's
right?
true.
And it's easy to get intimidated. Like, dog, where my healing coming
Come
in?
on.
All right, so now where my deliverance is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm trying.
Uh huh.
Every time I get to the edge, I'm afraid.
Right.
And fear holds me captive. And I talk about, we'll get there with my book, because
Right.
I struggle with fear a lot.
Right.
And so a lot of women I've met struggle with fear.
Yes.
They don't know how to get out of it.
Right.
And I would say, don't try to take 24 hours. Somebody said, one day at a time.
Right.
Sweet Jesus, one day just may be too much.
Right.
24 hours just may be too much. So that woman that's struggling, I tell them take one moment at a time.
I like it.
As long as you're moving, don't allow anyone to make you feel like you're not causing traction.
Yes.
Right? As long as you're moving, because you could have motion.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're moving, one teeny tiny step
Yeah.
at a time,
Yeah.
you're progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Bible says despise not the small things.
That's
That
right.
one little step, you're one step closer to your healing.
Yes.
And I would say, don't look at another person's progress.
Exactly.
Stay in your own lane.
Exactly. I think that's what kind of undermines our own personal growth and our personal healing when we try to keep up with the crowd. You can't go with the crowd. You can't flow with the crowd because although our stories may be similar, our path, our journey, and our healing is unique to us, to our
Absolutely.
makeup, to our DNA.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree with you on that. Because healing, the Bible says, is the children's bread.
Come on.
And it is available to us all.
To us all.
So just listening to you and all of the strength, because I can hear, because I come from that same kind of background, strong women. You can like hear that when you speak, I can hear grandma, I can hear auntie. So knowing you wear a lot of hats, pun intended, because I know you got a wardrobe.
I do. I have about 100 hats.
I know you got a full wardrobe. So how do you balance it all? How do you keep it in balance?
It's not easy. The other day, I was so overwhelmed, and people was like, especially my mom, you? Not you. Oh, no, I'm not going to let you put me in that box because at the same time, I'm human.
Exactly.
And so I had a moment to where I was sitting there. I was like, dog, I just wish I can pull from my memory. That's why I love pictures, my grandmother's voice, some words of wisdom that she would speak to me. And so I talked about it a little bit on Sunday, and I could hear her voice. My son is 20 years old, and my grandmother passed away, I was pregnant with him.
Mm.
And so I can still hear her voice so vividly in my memory. So I had to bring clarity to the people. And I was like, listen, it's not that I'm seeing her silhouette or seeing a ghost, because once the person passes away, that's not the person anymore.
Right.
Right? So I'm pulling those from my memory. I'm not listening to the enemy saying, oh, you want to go be where she are. So I wanted to clarify that so nobody don't get, because a lot of people say, oh, my grandmother came to visit me.
Right, right, right.
The Bible speaks about that. So we're
Mm.
not going to go into that,
Exactly.
but I'm just saying that wasn't a ghost. It was just me pulling my memory out
Exactly.
of what I remember and I needed in that moment. So I do have those low moments, although I have a lot of had sometimes I'll be like, God, okay, so you can take this one back.
Right. You can keep it.
You can. Who told you to give me this?
I didn't ask for
I didn't
this.
ask for this.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's something. How did I get? How
Right.
did we get here?
How did we get here?
How?
That,
Nobody
you know
supposed to
what?
be.
That is really good, because I had a conversation like this actually earlier today, with really, we don't choose our path when we give our life to God. When we say the yes, the
The
yes sounds,
surrender.
the yes sounds cute.
The surrender.
But honestly, when you actually give him a yes and you surrender, he really does put you in places where you never expected to be. And sometimes, most of the times, I found those places are very scary, because not only did you not anticipate it, you have no earthly idea
Exactly.
what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in those moments?
Mm-hmm. What is attached to the yes?
Mm.
Our kids could ask us for something, and then we could turn around and say, mm-mm. Oh, yeah, you can have it, but you can just have a little piece.
Right.
Even if you talk about intimacy, if a woman has been abused in that manner, and then she gets married, and then the husband says, okay, so I can do this, and then she say yes. But before she could surrender, fear jumps in, and she's like, wait. I said yes, but that yes with the surrender is making me put a pause on my surrender. So we can say yes.
Yeah.
What the songwriter said. If you do what he really wants you to do, if you can say what he really wants you to say, or no, if you knew what he really wants you to do, would you still say yes?
No.
Because that yes have a surrender to it.
Yeah.
It's easy to say yes.
So, and that surrender means relinquishing.
Listen, your own
control.
That's the
which
word.
All of us have That's what yes means. That's what our yes means.
It's attached to that.
Am I willing to relinquish it?
I said yes, but sister got on my nerves, and I'm finna bust her right in the mouth.
So let me put my yes back down.
Look, no. But we got to be willing to go through the process.
Really. So
it's a process.
It's in those moments, and it's true. It's true. Even when you give him a yes, you realize that's why you have to give him another yes.
Another yes.
In the midst of the process, on the journey, do you find in those moments that you really find out who you are as a person, not just as a pastor, but as a woman and as a person?
I'm still evolving.
Yeah.
Every time I go through something, because I ask God to help me to be effective, and that looks like to me, I want to be able to let somebody, because a lot of people look at PKs, oh, they're just perfect people. They mom and dad, they got the pastors right there, easily accessible to them. So they got this whole facade of what our life looks like.
Absolutely.
And it's far from the truth.
Far from the truth.
It's far from the truth. The whole thing it's not an easy journey or a task. The crown, the glitz, and the glamour. People think that pastor, and I see a lot of people say, I'm going to the nations.
Talk about it.
I say, God, just help me master the block.
Talk about it.
I haven't mastered the block.
My God.
My own community.
Yes.
In the church where my legacy is.
Yes.
Where my grandparents are. Let me be transparent in this moment. Yeah. So my grandparents left the church where we are. And so it's a lot of work for me to do. The church is like coming along to like, oh my God, 50 years or something like that. And so I used to be ashamed. I'm like, this is not no big church. This is like a little church. It's just, oh my goodness. And so one of my preacher friends was like, Listen, let me tell you something. Is it paid for? Yeah. So I'm gonna need you to hush.
Ooh.
I'm gonna need you to hush
Wow.
and thank God
Yeah.
and take a look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what God bless us with, it's already in our hands, but we're
Mm-hmm.
looking for more.
Yes.
Or
Ooh,
we've
that's
not
good.
mastered
That is
what
so
He's
good.
already blessed us with.
Yeah.
He said, if you be faithful over a few, I'm going to make you a ruler over many. How I'm going to the nations, I haven't mastered the block. Okay.
That's real good.
Okay. I have not been cultivated to be able to handle ministry or people on that level.
Yes.
That's what I mean. It's more than just physically mastering the block. I'm
Yes.
talking about mastering those right there who are at your arm's reach. Because when you go
Amen.
to the nations, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother great demons,
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
personalities
Yes,
that we
ma'am.
have to deal with.
Yes.
And if God has not cultivated our character in the midst of small things, there's no way
We
our
can't
talents
handle
and
it.
gifts can take us there. But what's going to sustain us?
Right.
What's going to keep us? Is our relationship and how much the cultivation does not feel good
Ooh.
because we're in our own space. I do not want to preach.
Come on and talk about it. Talk to
The
us.
cultivation don't feel good.
Yeah.
That's why my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. For we know that
All
all
things.
things work together for the good of those that love God and are the called according to His purpose.
Uh-huh.
It don't feel good, but it's working together for my good.
Yeah.
So the cultivation process don't feel good because I got to die to myself. I got to show up in ministry
Yes.
after I've gone through hell and high waters,
Yes.
after I've had an argument with my husband,
My
after
God.
my son, I done bust him up, right? After my boss done got on my last nerves, I still got to show up come Sunday.
My.
And not even just Sunday, I still got to show up back to work Tuesday, today
Uh-huh.
Monday. Tomorrow I got to show up exemplifying Christ.
Come on.
Not as a doormat, but I got to exemplify Christ.
Yes, ma'am.
The love of Christ.
Yes.
I can tell you how you affected me,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Without stepping out of who I am in Christ.
That's right. That's correct.
And still walk in the holiness of God.
And still represent
And
him.
still represent Him well.
That's right. Still represent who you are. And that is powerful. And it does take a one day at a time experience. Again, it's in these situations where we really find out who we are and what we're made of. I remember just not long ago, I was teaching on our confession and our walk having to match. We are a royal priesthood, we're a righteous nation, and sometimes when we're put in those situations, we don't represent what we confess. And it's only through His strength and power. But I also found out through those places where you mentioned the character making experiences,
Yes.
that person, that royal priesthood comes through. He
Yes.
really does, if we put it in His hands, He really does shape us
Yes, He does.
into that person that where our walk and our talk begins to match. So that's powerful. So let's segue over here too, because all of the things that you're giving us, it's giving me a picture of then how you developed into a writer as well as a playwright. So when did you know you were a writer?
Oh, I want to say middle school and
Okay.
early high school, like ninth grade. I've been trying to find. I was like hoping that he didn't pass away. We did like um dressed up one year, and I was like an introvert. I was shy,
Okay.
not a talker at all. Now they say I talk too much.
That
I would.
brokenness births it.
Listen,
Brokenness births it.
it birthed.
Yeah.
But I actually was an introvert, and then I would write my first play. I wrote it in my 30s.
Okay.
Cause I put it down. I'm like, they ain't finna hear me.
Wow.
Me, a girl from Liberty City.
Wow.
Who? No. A Haitian American church girl.
A whole daughter of this community.
Listen, I couldn't wear pants.
Come on.
Nobody finna listen to me.
Come on and talk.
Just a chubby old thing. Nobody finna listen to me.
Yeah.
Right? But so I wrote my first play in my 30s.
Okay.
And I sat on it for 2 years
Wow.
because of fear.
Okay.
Fear of what people was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get past people,
Yes.
we can do a lot of things.
That's it.
We can do a lot of things. And so that held me bound for a long time.
Okay.
Even when I knew the talents that God has graced me with.
Absolutely.
Fear had me captive.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to refocus that fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because some fear, the reverence and fear of God, yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I had to reshape that fear of not wanting to use it as a way to propel me to my next.
Yes.
What the song say? Prove the doubters wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to prove the doubters wrong.
Yeah.
The first doubter was me.
Oof. That's so good.
I had to get past me.
That's good.
We
Yes,
focused,
ma'am.
oh, I'm going to show them today. I had to show me.
Yes.
Michael Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Yes, ma'am. So you said at 30 you wrote your first play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what it was about? What was the focus?
It was Confessions of a PK.
Oh, that's one we gotta do.
Confessions of a PK.
The PKs need that one.
It was good.
Awesome.
It was sold out the first night.
My God. My God.
Confessions
And
of a PK.
so let's get to now where you are now with Table of Grace, of the which I am a cast member. I'm going to throw that plug in there. I played the part of Patience, and I was like, is this some kind of prank? When she gave me my part, I was like, oh my God, this is, when I tell you, it is so perfect. This role is perfect for me. And it has been very therapeutic.
Wow.
It actually has. So everything has been divinely ordered. I know people say that, but honestly, that is truth. That remains true for me here with this play. Actually, and this is the first production.
Wow.
I'm putting myself out there. That I decided to kind of come on. That's one of the things where you have to say, okay, put all of that to the side. What somebody going to say, what you think of yourself.
Absolutely.
This is a part of my makeup and my DNA. So this is my coming out party.
You did amazing.
As well. Thank you. Thank you. But you guys
like
make
a
it
vet.
easy. No, you guys make it easy. But where did you get the idea for Table of Grace?
I think that we do a lot of beating ourselves up. We make a mistake and we're beating ourselves up. Yeah, no, I'm not worthy. I had a baby out of wedlock. Yeah, no, I'm not worthy. I had a thing for paratotal boles. So the paratoles and boles had me, God.
My God.
I was stuck. Somebody may say, God, I'm an alcoholic. Like, I can't let it go.
Yeah.
God, I got a problem. And so sometimes, back in the day when I was growing up, the old folks used to always sing, not the old folks, the seasoned saints used to always sing, there is room at the cross for you. Though many have come, there's still room for one. And so a lot of times, and I've been in a lot of ministries and grew up in ministry where a lot of leaders lean more into the rebuke and the chastisement.
Absolutely.
And they don't have grace.
Yes.
And so I remember being in that space where I felt like, oh my God, how can I get back to God? Because I was pregnant with my son. As a PK, I stepped out. I said, you know what? I can't do it. Wow. God and his people.
Right.
Yeah, they could miss me with that. I'm good. I'm good. I went and found me a paratotal bole. Oh. I was an evangelist.
My God.
It wasn't even hard. Took me right on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Found myself pregnant. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not, definitely gonna be crucified by the church. Jesus did that already. I ain't ready.
Yeah.
I'm not him. And so I found myself beating up myself, people putting me in a box, talking about me. So I felt like there was no more room for me.
Wow.
But this play is a reminder to everybody that's been through the hard stuff.
Yeah.
This player's reminder to the underdog. There's still room for you at the table of grace.
I love it.
And I was specific about the names. If you know,
Yes.
yeah, it's the fruit of
The
the
fruit of the
Spirit.
Spirit, which I thought was so amazing and so creative. Because it makes sense that the fruit of the Spirit would be gathered
Yes.
at the table
of grace. Oh, we gonna lay out. Listen, we're gonna lay out the 17 works of the flesh. Oh Lord. I remember being 20 years old and trying my best to live holy. Back then they told me you had to get married before you have sex.
Come on.
But I slipped up and had sex. And so that's why God say, don't, I ain't slip up. I walked into it.
I chose it.
I chose to do it.
Let's stay free.
The street. Oh, the blood. That Jesus.
Real talk.
Okay. And so I walked into it, and then they say you can't miss nothing that you never had.
Oh, come on.
So when you touch and you see and you taste, now there's a yearning that happens.
That's it.
And so now I'm stuck in the midst of it. And so there had to be a process to get myself out of it. I had to clean up what I allowed the devil to mess up.
Right, because you get in a cycle of, okay, I'm not going to do that no more. You do it again.
You do it again.
Oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. Do it again.
So
you get caught in this cycle, what I call the church cycle. Because, that's what we do.
Yeah.
When it comes to, this is the thing. There are things that are going to come naturally because we are human. But if we're given the proper tools on how to walk that
and
out,
navigate through it,
then it'll be easier. Well, it'll be easier for us not to be stuck in the cycle, because it's guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame.
But the conversations don't be had.
Exactly.
Don't be had. And they told me, you know what? Oh, the Bible says it's better to get married than to burn. You need to get married. Sex before marriage. Sex before marriage. That ain't what all. That's all I knew. I'm like, okay, it feel good.
Right.
We need to get married.
Right.
Because I need them parental both legs. Next to me. Yeah, they had to come together.
They did it.
And they did it.
It did it for you.
It did it for me. And then I found myself in an abusive marriage. I didn't know to seek if they love God.
Come on.
Y'all told me sex before marriage and God was going to bless. It was going to honor God. Marriage is honorable.
That's what they said.
But they ain't finished.
They didn't tell you the rest.
They didn't tell me the rest. So I say, it's honorable. Let's do the dang thing. In Jesus' name. Yeah. And then I found myself broken. A young woman, broken, married, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Did not know nothing. Nobody had those conversations with me.
No.
And I grew up as a PK.
Yeah.
Those weren't conversations we had. We had some good Jesus conversations.
Not about life, though.
Not about life. And so I vowed to myself when I became a leader and a pastor that I would educate my son and my daughter. Because this was not going to be a repeat effect for our legacy. Exactly. This was not going to be a repeat thing in our lineage.
Right.
That stopped with me.
Yeah.
I made up in my mind. I went through a lot. I said, and I knew I couldn't. I said, God, I went through enough for both of them.
Wow.
Take it easy on me.
I love it.
Take it easy on. I went through enough.
Job did the same thing.
I said, take it easy on my babies.
Yeah.
I had to sit down and have the conversation with them. Listen, when life began life, and I had a conversation with my son. No matter how much a woman makes you upset, don't put your hands on her.
That's it.
You got to make sure you got to vet her. Because we always vetting the man.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, he got to do this. He got to make that. He got to do. And got to make that. He got to be fine. I tell my son, baby, you better know who you are.
Yeah.
You came out of me.
Yeah.
You a king. I taught you from young.
Yeah.
I instilled that in him to provide, to protect, to love, to cherish. Baby, you got to vet her to see if she's worthy of all you have to offer. He said, Mama, all that the other day, I shared it on my line. Mama, all that you taught me, these women out here trash. I say, not all of them.
Not all of them.
That's why the Bible say, he that findeth. Exactly. That means you got to look. You got to look. It ain't going to just drop you.
That's a wonderful example, too, because the women, we as women, we get that conversation, we get that speech, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't let the men know or
Oh,
let our sons know that you are worthy
you
of a
are
queen.
worthy.
So I think that if more of our men or our sons
Mm-hmm.
were made to, were, an awareness is brought to them. Because in the household
Absolutely.
I was in, thank God I was raised with a mom and a dad, and
Mm-hmm.
my father is a father. You know, that's why I know what to look for in a man. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I knew that certain ones
It wasn't it.
was just not going to cut the mustard,
Mm-hmm.
because, but I had that example
Mm-hmm.
in my home, and I find that an awareness is brought. You know, I was always being reminded, that's not good enough for you, or you are better than that, or
Mm-hmm.
this is who you are. And if
Mm-hmm.
we speak that, especially into our sons and our men,
Mm-hmm.
then we won't have the dogs. We won't have the ones who, because it's the same thing that drives a man to be with a lot of
A lot of
women
women.
as what drives a woman, the, you know, the one they call
The
promiscuous,
promiscuous.
to be with a
Mm-hmm.
lot. It's the same
It's
thing.
the same thing.
They're looking for the same thing. The same craving is there. The same emptiness is there. But we glorify one and we
Mm-hmm.
trash the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I instilled that into my son. I instilled that into both of my children because I was like, I didn't want him to bring no disrespectful young lady home to me, cursing me out and doing all kind of things. No, that's not what I want to endure in my
Right.
older years.
Right.
No, no. On the other side of glory, that ain't what I want to do.
Right.
Baby, you got to vet her before you bring her to the palace.
Right.
Because this legacy over here, when she
Yes.
comes, she has access to certain things.
Right. Right.
No. We're not
Wow.
having children with runny nose and saggy diapers.
Well,
We're not doing that.
right.
And so I had to take a lot of, and then I was unequally yoked. Remember?
Yeah.
And then I was a single mother for a long time.
All right.
I never instilled in my kids to have animosity or resentment in their fathers because I was like, you know, they're kids. They know is that's my mom, that's my dad. I love them both. And
Yes.
I find that a lot of parents, saved and unsaved, they play the child pawn.
Right.
And I think that affects the children more than they know.
Use them as a pawn.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Even though I was abused, I did not do that because I needed my children to grow up to be well-rounded and
Healthy.
healthy citizens.
Healthy. Healed.
Healthy and
Whole.
healed and whole and not broken. I didn't
Yeah.
want that for them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was intentional to put my personal feelings aside. Yeah, I couldn't stand them,
Yeah.
but I know that's our child.
Yes.
And I know that you wouldn't hurt our child.
Yeah.
So it was important for you to be a part of our child's life.
Absolutely.
Even if I was dating someone, I let them know, listen, that's their father.
Yes.
Now, we're not going to do that.
And that's important.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You got me.
Mm-hmm.
That was used to be. And I'm
Right.
not playing those games. It's no open doors.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of women make a mistake. The
Yeah.
baby daddy always have access. No, baby, you had this and you messed up. And so what we're not going to do,
It's over.
what we're not going to do
That's
is
it.
continue to have access to what you had.
That's what we're not gonna do.
That's what we're not going to do.
Uh-huh.
But what we are going to do is be healthy parents for our children.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
And so I felt like that hurted them more.
It does. It does.
I wasn't trying to be vengeful, but I'm like,
No,
hey,
but
you messed up.
if there's honesty there and you don't have access to what you had access to, yeah. If you tell the truth, yeah, it's gonna be a little twinge.
Don't punch my son in the chest and say it with your chest. Boys don't cry. Don't you hit my baby in his chest?
Mm-mm.
And a lot of young men grew up with that.
That's true.
Suck them tears up.
Yeah.
They don't know how to receive love. They don't know how to give it. That's why I have to teach me how to love.
Absolutely.
Because they don't, my son know how to love, but my son was a good, real one.
Yeah.
The mom was like, can we make a deal? Two mothers that my son dated. Can we make a deal? I won't let my daughter talk to nobody else if they could get married. I said, baby, my son got to live life.
Help them. Because it's a rarity to find a
But he
young
got to
man
live.
who is that comfortable
Yeah.
in
He's
communicating.
a good one.
Yes.
He's a good
and
one.
able to identify and communicate with her and what she's doing and what she's going through as well. So it is a rarity, but we're working on that, right? We're working on that. So the characters in Table of Grace,
Mhm.
do they represent people that you know, or are you drawing from personal experience or a
Personal.
combination of both?
Personal.
Okay.
I have been in each one of those spaces.
Awesome.
I have been through so much in my life. I can write 20 more plays.
Wow. Please
And
do.
I've already written 10.
Please do.
From being molested by a minister.
Wow.
Like, oh my God. To being married several times.
Wow. Yeah.
To almost losing my mother to COVID.
Mm.
To my own personal struggles of feeling inadequate. Right?
Yeah.
To going through with my siblings. To people showing up to my church, my family members ready to fight me.
Talk about it.
So, oh yeah.
So you got plenty of material.
Plenty.
And I want you to write them all. Write it all. Write it all. Come on and talk to me about Fearless Formation.
Fearless Formation, my first book. I did it for my birthday. That's my everything on my bucket list, everything that I desired. I just go for it.
Come on.
And so I struggled with fear a lot.
Okay.
A lot. And I know that this is kind of like a playbook to help individuals navigate through how to structure your own life. Stop looking at other people. And so it was some key points that helped me reposition fear in my life
Okay.
to where it weighed me down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because something could be on your head weighing you down.
Yeah.
It could be on your shoulders weighing you down. That's a lot of pressure. Pressure don't feel good.
Right.
You ever had a headache? Like I said, oh, that's like a pressure on your head, and you want to put a compress on your head, and it's so much pressure on you till it's weighing you down. To take it from there, we're going to reposition it and put it under our feet. The scripture says he'll put you up on hinds feet.
Yes.
Put me on. Let me use this fear as my hinds feet to propel me to my next.
Yes.
I'm going to do it scared. I may be shaking in my boots. I'm going to do it scared because
Scared.
why? Greater is he that is on the inside of me than he that is in the world. So that's what Fearless Formation is about.
I think that's wonderful because once again, that's a voice that we need in situations such as this. We are in a society where everybody's what I call is racing to be relevant. So
Yes.
that puts a lot of pressure, on producing. And of course, when failure is going to birth fear, in the process of that. So the fact that you've provided a roadmap, basically, on how not to get caught up in that fear trap. So that is something, that's another thing we need to get to. So for those of you who are in need of that kind of a help, make sure you look for Fearless Formation. Where is it offered? It's on Amazon. All right. So listen, let's wind it down. As a pastor and a leader, I have to do this in this community. You, like I said before, you are a daughter of this community. This is the community where you grew up, where you were birthed naturally and spiritually. You've seen both sides of the gambit. I say we are in a unique position because as PKs who have grown up, we know both sides of the bridge. So we have become the voices now for the bridge, and we have become the bridge because we have experienced both sides. So as a leader now in the community that you grew up in, what advice or nuggets will you leave for those that are coming up now in leadership or working in any capacity in our community? What nuggets would you leave for them?
I always leave this nugget. I used to be a runner. Okay. Not track.
Okay. I know what you mean.
I used to be a runner. I ran from everything. Oh, this too hard. Yeah, it ain't for me. I say to individuals, yes, it's going to be hard. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Giving up is easy. Throwing in the towel is easy. Running is easy. That's your way out.
Yeah.
Because the body's natural defense is to flight or fight.
Fight or flight.
It takes something to put 10 toes down for yourself.
My God.
Don't give up on you. Those are nuggets. When Simba in The Lion King.
This lady preach anything. Come on. Just come on with it.
And Simba, when his dad Mufasa, he Simba was struggling so hard, and one thing that his dad Mufasa looked at him and said, "Remember who you are.
Hmm.
Remember who you are." I'm not saying about what somebody told you.
Yes.
I'm talking about those conversations that you have with yourself. Yes, I think I can. I know I can. The training that's already on the inside of you. So many people are looking for their purpose, looking for what reason, why am I here? What is my gifts? Everything that you need is already within you. It's already there. God has already predestined you. And the thing is, you have to be rightly aligned in relationship with God so that He can send you individuals that can help pull out that was on the inside of you. And once they pull it out, they have to cultivate it because you got to know how to use that gift.
Yes, ma'am.
You got to know what it was. They had like Xavier,
Uh-huh.
the X-Men
Yes, ma'am.
in the wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
Everybody had gifts. It was different.
That's right.
They had so many different gifts. And without the gifts, without the training of the gift, they destroy things.
That's it. Without the training.
Without the training. So you already have it on the inside of you. Once you recognize what it is, sometimes it can be confusing and a little scary.
Come on.
God gave me this. He gave me the ability to do that or this.
Come on.
I'm not speaking from a place where somebody told me. I've been there.
Yeah.
Where I tussled with God. Me?
Yeah.
I don't even think that I speak properly enough to do what you're trying to make me
Come
do.
on here.
But if God be for you,
Oh.
who can be against you?
Yeah.
So I say to everybody, don't give up. It's easy to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
It's easy. It don't even take effort. When you take something dirty off, you like, throw it right in the garbage.
My
In a
God.
dirt clothes hamper. It's easy to disrobe it. But it takes something to fight. It takes something to stand on you. Everybody say, I'm standing on business. What business?
What's
You
the
heard
business?
something that's trending.
What's the business?
What's the business? Because we don't want to take the time. So many people are social media made. They got self-made. No, you're social media made.
Yeah.
Your favorite person, you're researching them. You're finding out everything about them. You're putting on their same. I don't like to look like people.
Come on.
I buy things off season because I don't like to look like people.
I love it.
And I don't like people to look like me.
That's right.
I don't.
Nothing wrong.
I don't.
Me either.
It's a confession. This is my confession.
Me either.
Be who God, you are unique in who God created you. There's absolute, to put a stamp on it. If you get arrested or something, there's absolutely nobody that has in this world of billions and millions of people. Listen, even twins don't have the same fingerprint.
That's right.
Baby, that lets you know that you are unique,
Yes.
divinely and fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
The world needs you and what God placed on the inside of you.
Yes.
You are unique. You don't have to be nobody else.
Come
You
on.
don't have time to study someone else so bad till you lose who you are.
That's right.
Especially in relationships. I had to tell my husband straight up, baby, when you met me, I was her.
Already. I
Already.
was already her.
So don't take no chisel
Mm.
and try to make me into Sally Sue.
Go find Sally if that's what you want.
Don't take no chisel and try to break me from who God called me to be.
I love it.
I can walk into who you need me to be. I am every woman.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't mess with the character and the essence of who I am.
Yeah.
Because isn't that who you fell in love with?
Ooh.
Okay.
Tony don't have a chance. Well, listen, you have heard it. We have heard and understand why she is one of the most prolific, one of the prolific voices of this community. And God knows we need a Shartonya Cromer.
Amen.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Remember the words of this wise woman. If you don't remember anything else, remember who you are. Thank you so much, Shartonya.
Absolutely.
We got to do this again.
Oh, yes. You know I could talk.
This has, we both can. This has been an amazing, amazing
Yes.
segment of Ignite, the podcast. Tap your subscribe button, like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next